I was 37,000 feet above Pakistan when my sat phone buzzed. Classified airspace, no signals allowed, no personal calls. I answered anyway. "Mr. Bishop, this is Dr. Lanning, Emergency Services. Your son is here, a broken arm, partial thickness burns. He says," there was a pause. "He says your wife's new husband did this, after he refused to call him Dad." I heard it then, my son, crying, muffled, bruised. Then the line cut. The cockpit door opened without a knock. My co stood there. He'd heard enough. "Your mission is scrubbed." He tossed a black duffel on the floor. "The Stealth Hawk is yours, no red tape." I didn't speak, just nodded, and strapped in. The war was no longer overseas, it was at my doorstep. By the time I touched down, my mind had stripped itself bare. No emotion, just procedure. I'd seen burns like that before, on villages torched by men who smiled when they lit the match. But this wasn't a war zone, it was my son's skin. I reached the ER at dawn. A nurse escorted me quietly. She looked at me like she knew. Everyone did. He was asleep, arm casted, bandaged, swollen lip. I waited until the doctor stepped out. Then I whispered, "Tell me the truth." He didn't flinch, just handed me a clipboard and said, "He begged us not to call your wife." I signed the discharge papers and walked out with my son. He didn't ask questions. He just held my sleeve tighter. At the apartment I found her waiting, smiling like she still had the right to. "I didn't know they'd call you," she started. I didn't answer. She opened her mouth again, but stopped when I turned to face her fully. "Where is he?" She blinked. "What do you mean?" "Your husband." She didn't answer. Her silence was all I needed. I didn't make a scene. That's what she'd expect. I took my son to the guest room, made him toast, sat beside him as he fell asleep. And then I started digging. Phone records, iCloud backups, emergency calls, deleted photos. They never vanish, not really. The night of the incident, 2 missed calls to 911 from my son's number, unanswered. The next morning, a message she sent her husband. "He won't listen. He still calls Alex his real dad. I'm done begging." The bruises weren't an accident. They were a message. And the message was meant for me. Over the next 2 days, I mapped it all out. Patterns, location data, social media check-ins. The man she married, Brent Holloway, wasn't just violent. He was calculated, controlled. The type who wore civility like a tailored suit. But people like him, they slip. One photo, one timestamp, a liquor store security feed, a receipt from a pharmacy 30 miles away. Right around the same time my son was screaming into a disconnected phone. He wasn't even home. She lied. She let it happen. And then she lied. I waited until Saturday, took my son to his aunt's, then returned to the apartment, empty-handed. She was there, dressed, expectant, like it was a date night. "You're early," she said. I nodded. Laid a folder on the kitchen table. No words. Inside, photos, transcripts, GPS logs, screenshots of her messages. Everything. Every betrayal pinned to a page. She flipped through them slowly, her skin drained color. "I didn't." She stopped, because she knew lying wouldn't work now. I stood by the door, watching. Not yelling, not pacing. Just watching. "You didn't hit him," I said quietly. "You let someone else do it." She opened her mouth, shut it, and then broke into something that almost looked like crying. I handed her a second envelope. Legal documents, full custody, restraining order, cease and desist, filed, stamped, approved. I'd been busy. Her hands shook as she read. The moment she looked up at me, mascara streaked, I could see the weight drop onto her shoulders like iron. "You can't take him." "He's already gone." She lunged forward, hysterical now, voice cracking. "You can't just erase me." I tilted my head. "You did that yourself." Then I turned, opened the door, and left it open behind me, Not for her, for the silence. Let it fill the space I used to occupy. That night, I sat beside my son while he slept, bandages still fresh, but his breath was even, peaceful. I didn't feel victory, just stillness, like something hollow had finally settled. This war didn't need bloodshed, it needed precision, silence, truth laid bare with surgical clarity. Let her rot in the ruins of her own story. I had my own now, and it no longer included her. Some men carry scars on their backs, others carry them in silence. Mine? They smile back at me through my son's healing skin, and the absence of her voice.